Hi, beloved. It's Hannah Kolamainen. Do you have a specific calling upon your life? There is a sense of urgency, a sense of apprehension, and sometimes even anxiety among people today who are thinking that they have a specific call upon their life and they have no idea how to find out what it is. Jesus said, "I have brought you glory by finishing the work that you gave me to do." Samson, who is our main character in Napping in Delilah's Lap, is one of whom God sent an angel with a specific message regarding his calling. He was to be the leader of the Israelites against their tyrannical leaders, the Philistines. Seems to me, though, that is not the norm, that God send an angel to a parent to say, this and this and this is the line of work that your child is going to pursue. It seems to me that our obsession with calling is really an obsession with our jobs or our ministries, our tasks, our occupations, our vocations, because our identity is so closely tied to our work. I call our vocation, whether it's employment or ministry, a lesser calling. I think that God is calling us to a greater calling, a calling that cannot be taken away from us, a calling that does not determine our identity. Now, I'm thinking that calling is a lesser calling and that we have a greater calling. God said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, with all your mind, and you shall love other people as yourself." God's greater calling for us, beloved, is a calling that is a relational calling. It is a calling that we can never lose. It is a calling that we can have regardless of our age, regardless of our employment status, and regardless of our ability to work or not work. So God uses several metaphors in the Bible. The keynote metaphor is that we are the bride of Christ. That's our primary calling. To that end, we are to be faithful to the lover of our souls. We are to love him and love each other with everything we have. Here's another metaphor, the family of Christ, that we are called to be brothers and sisters of each other in this family called the family of Christ. Here's another metaphor. We are called to be sons and daughters. He is our Father. He is our provider. He gives us direction, affection, protection, and so much more as our Father. That is our calling. Here's another metaphor. Soldiers. We are soldiers of Christ, and he is our commanding officer. To that end, we are to obey him. If our primary calling is to love him, he says, "If you love me, you will obey me." That is our calling. And so it lines up beautifully then, because many will turn around and say, well, he says that we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works that he prepared in advance for us to do. And many people will use that as a justification that, yes, I have a specific job or a specific task that I am supposed to be doing. And I will say, you know what? You do. So much so that even as believers, we will be judged by that. What are those, you might ask? We are to feed the hungry. We are to clothe the naked. We are to visit the sick and the imprisoned. We are to love the foreigner, the orphan, and the widows. That is a greater calling. Those are callings that you can do no matter your station in life. So you don't have to stress out about attaining to celebrityhood or becoming the chief surgeon or the chief lawyer in your firm. If you get there, great, good for you. Be there as a soldier of Christ. If you're a farmer or a teacher or a police officer, be that as a child of Christ. Be that as a soldier of Christ, with love, with complete humility and gentleness. Those are the callings upon your life that cannot be taken away, that the economy will never affect. Those are callings upon your life that stand true from the time you're an itty bitty through your school life, your work life, your retirement, until the moment you die. You will be able to attain and maintain that identity in Christ, because that is your greater calling. So I pray that as we walk forward and start to delve more and more into napping in Delilah's lap and the concepts therein, that we would start off by knowing that our calling is already attained and secure. Moreover, I love that God calls us, for example, in 1 Corinthians 7:17, to live as a believer in whatever situation He has called you to or assigned you to. I love Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart, as unto the Lord, and not to man. And so in conclusion, I bless you with the blessing of Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. You no longer live, whether you're a real estate agent or a teacher, a stay-at-home mom, kid, a retiree, pastor, a missionary, you no longer live, for you have been crucified with Christ. You no longer live the life you live by faith in Christ, who died for you. That is your calling. That is your identity. Great blessings to you in your calling.